Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Welcome everyone to Titan Esports Divinity League. We are here on week number 7 of the winter split, so the final week before playoffs. I'm Caleb Payne. I'm joined with Fel today, who commentated the finals of last Divinity with me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just for lack of a better pun, the two titans of Group B.
Yes.
There's only one way to go from here. So yeah, this is very important for seeding at the end. It's also kind of like we were talking earlier about this potentially being a playoff matchup. So these two teams are going to be very excited to see each other, get some tape down so that they can study it and see what goes right, what doesn't go well. And so I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me again, and I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about it a little bit before we went live too, but last time around, the final week 7 matchup ended up being the finals matchup too.
Yep.
So could be a preview of things to come, but we have things in front of us right now, and we have ourselves Saba's Grubs on that blue side versus GCCE Chrono Shift.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is. And a couple of these players were actually in the finals of last splits, Frost being one of them I definitely recognize. And, a couple of these players probably shifted between the GCCE, teams, the Street Fighter teams, and now they have the Chrono Shift as well. So we get the Yasuo and Renekton banned out on that blue side, Viego and Gwen banned out on the side of Chrono Shift. So probably targeting a lot of the junglers. May try to open up things for a potential Dr. Mundo, but I don't know if you want to pick that on game 1. It is very strong these days, though.
It is, and it's a good flex, top or jungle. I mean, we've seen it so much in the jungle. Like, it's just so good. The clear is fast, everything. We are getting, thank you, chat. Appreciate that. We are getting out. GCCE is on the blue side, not the red side. So I think maybe just the graphics are probably opposite. And we're going to get a first pick Sivir here. Champion that I can't stand because I can't play her. But seems to work out really well in the higher elos, and every time that I see it in normally Emerald and down, it doesn't go very well. So we'll see if Lucky can pilot this and who they pair it with, and if it just ends up being like a tempo in a shove lane, or if it works out the way I normally see it. So the answer from, I'm assuming, Saba's Grubs is going to be the Ashe Seraphine. Super strong, obviously, like easy go buttons. These are always champions that are picked to start it, and the number 1 counter to the Seraphine, the Braum, or I guess Mel would be, but the Braum answer, I like that as well. So
so we get the Sion pickup too. I mean, this would open up the door for a potential Dr. Mundo pickup too. Dr. Mundo with the Seraphine is a very strong combo, and they could ban out stuff like Trundle in the next ban phase if they want to go for that or not. Oh, and there it is.
There it is.
All right.
Hey, it's usually me making the predictions. Here we go. We're better at that.
I've seen just too many pro games where this combo has looked pretty disgusting. So
yeah, you take out the Viego. Take out the Gwen. It's kind of like, yeah, we know what we want to do. And maybe they had an idea, so they were trying to bait them into it. And if they're like, all right, if they don't take it, we'll take it. So yeah, so we will see the Sion more than likely, I think, in the top. I don't know if any of if Jesus Juice or I forget who's, or if Lullaby, if she plays Sion into the jungle.
Right.
Because I think the names are also backwards here.
Yes. Yeah. We get the Yone banned out, and then interesting enough, they left Trundle on the table, which could be a good way to kind of help neutralize the Dr. Mundo in a way, but maybe they're expecting, maybe there's not enough mastery on it. I'm not really sure, but we get the J4 pickup as the jungle. Okay, so this is actually going to be Dr. Mundo on that top lane. So big health stackers living on that top side, and probably going to do a lot of split pushing. But I do like the possibility of that flex pick, and we get the Wukong pickup. And just the mid laner remaining from Chrono, unless they're going for some crazy comp, which seems unlikely at this point.
Yeah, it does seem kind of standard, right? Yep. Here's the Aurora, another lane bully. So between the Sivir and the Braum being able to shove out the Ashe Seraphine, I think they can do a decent enough job of trying to hold the wave. But eventually, the level 3, level 4 Sivir is just gonna shove that wave completely. The mid lane is gonna be the same, so they should have a lot of dragon potential and control on the side of GCCE. What we've been seeing with this quest and everything a lot of push in the early and guarantee the scuttle, or a outnumbered fight on the scuttle. for your jungler. So we'll see if the Wukong can get there. And I think the answer for SG is simple: find out where Wukong is and send your Jarvan to the other side, and then have him just cross map basically and go to the other side. And the early laning pressure from Jarvan is much more effective than the Wukong normally. But once we get into the late game, it's anybody's games. Wukong's so good at getting into the back line and adapting to every situation, and not to steal his line, but he really is. And so both of these teams have very standard comps, very standard drafts. This is looking like something that we would see on stage, and both of these teams, they just kind of set the tone as to why they're probably the number 1 and 2 teams, is because they do stuff like this where they just play very reliable comps with very reliable engages.
Yeah, and they have a lot of range too on the side of the Grub side, and that could be make the team fighting a little bit harder for Chrono Shift in a way, because Sivir's going to enjoy some of those closer, shorter range champs or melee champs to fight into, but you only got 2 on the side of Grubs, but late game Sivir is still a threat. You have a pretty aggressive lane on the side of Saba's Grubs, and so could be a great way to kind of slow down Adam and Romeo in that bot lane. But if they aren't slowed down and Sivir can farm pretty safely, this late game really could be anyone's game. Which draft are you favoring a little bit more here?
So I'm with you. I like the range on Saba's Grubs, but if this gets to 25 to 30 minutes, which it should, that's when Braum kind of takes over the scene, right? Like, you're going to get the Ash Hour to come in, and then he just hops to whoever it hits and stops all the follow-up damage on the end, right? Like Syndra doesn't even have to ult him for him to block it. So any projectiles coming in after the initial, he can hop in there, take all of the damage, and stay alive. I do think it's going to be a little brutal for them, just because I feel like Jarvan will be able to add so much more pressure early on. But if this is sort of like a farming jungle, as we've started to see with all these quests, this could easily go, GCCE's way, because they just are going to be better at it, right? They're going to be able to pressure these lanes. I think that Sion is going to be able to shove harder than Mundo. So with the Aurora in there as well, like early on, these first 2 objectives, if they don't go to Chrono Shift, then they did something wrong, and that can set the tone for the rest of the game.
Definitely, yeah. And there's a ton of CC kind of on both ends. So these team fights can be quite good. But we are underway. It is Chrono Shift on that blue side versus Saba's Grubs on the red side. And Chrono Shift is 6-0, undefeated in the regular splits as we are in that final week. And then Saba's Grubs is 5-1. So they're looking to try to take a series off of Chrono Shift if possible. Sorry for the slight tech difficulties, but we'll get back to the game as soon as we can. But yeah, this is definitely a matchup, not for playoff contention, but for seeding and potentially a preview for a little bit more.
Okay. Oh, I love this. The sweeper on Jarvan early on. More than likely, he's going to be there, but they will not be able to track him. So if he wants to do something funny and skip a camp and get down to the bot lane quickly, this can definitely go their way like really quickly, and can really catch them off by surprise. So something to look forward to that potentially may happen. If not, he does the standard clear and they're going to know, and both of these junglers are going to be going down to the bot side. And like I said early, GCCE should have the early prio and all of the push on their side.
That's right. And our top laners going to just be exchanging some grass procs. These are definitely going to be some pretty heavy meat shields in the later game. As you can see, Adam already getting chunked out a little bit from this aggressive bot lane of Grubs. Oh, actually dropping almost to like 25% health. This is going to make the laning stage, especially in the early parts, a little bit harder here. Romeo trying to buy some space, but they do hit level 2 first, so they should be okay for now.
Yeah, and just stepping up just a little bit too far, but nothing that he can't really come back from. Braum's going to be able to get, with the Guardian proc, just shield stuff, and then you get your auto reset for the auto attack in the Omnivamp. So should be fine as long as she doesn't do that, or he doesn't do that again, and it should be good to just kind of shove. I would be interested to see if they kind of take like a cheater's recall here early on and try to come back with maybe half an item or something like that, maybe some extra wards, and just reset this health bar. I think that could go really well for them. And like we were saying earlier, yeah, the shove potential of GCCE is crazy. And we're seeing it especially right now up in the top side.
Yeah, definitely. TES really taking advantage of that matchup as much as possible and just kind of be a nuisance on the Scion. Dr. Mundo definitely not known for his early game, but if you can survive the laning phase, you will definitely be a late game force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, Adam and Romeo sidestepping some of that height no damage. Seraphine definitely picking up a lot in usage, I would say, in kind of across the board in amateur scene and in the pro league as well. But a lot of people really kind of unleash some of his powers, especially paired up with that Dr. Mundo. It's just so much healing across the board. So we're definitely going to have to see some heal cut come out from Chrono at some point.
I think every single member of their team, including Frost, is going to have to build it, right? You got just so much that, Jarvan's going to have the Sundered Sky, Ashe will have the Seraphine, and potentially, if this is an on-hit Ashe, with the Bork and everything. So I do feel that is going to be a huge priority. And yeah, Seraphine just like early on just seems to do so much more damage than other Enchanter supports with a lot more range, and then it transitions into such a great team fight assister. And like you were saying, not just with the healing, but with the Encore, able to just use Mundo as a guaranteed shot to just carry that across like the entire map. So a lot of agency that Fallen Warriors is going to be able to give on this. And I will say, I am surprised that the score is still 0-0 at 4 minutes. These Emerald Leagues here in Titan have been like a lot of scrapping lately, so it's interesting and kind of nice to be able to see something where we could just sort of talk about the game state and not just 6 kills already by minute 5.
It really depends too on not even just like the specific team matchups in Divinity League, but just the specific game. Some games it'll be like no kills for like 10-15 minutes, and then the next game there'll be like over like 2 kills a minute. It would be something crazy like that. So usually I do see that the first game tends to be on a slightly slower pace. Both teams just kind of feeling things out. And again, these are our top 2 Cs from Group B, so they definitely don't want to pull the trigger a little bit early too, right? Just wants to farm up and try to set up a team fight later on, which makes sense from these definitely experienced teams as we see this bot lane just exchange some blows. But for the most part, it's been pretty even across the board. Maybe a slight CS lead on this top side there with that Scion, but again, IQ of a Coconut will be able to catch up later for sure. That's scaling Dr. Mundo.
We are seeing a little bit of a level disparity here in mid. I don't know if that's because she took a back at a bad time and missed something. There's only a 4 CS difference, so they're both hitting 6 now, but Syndra with a little bit of an XP lead here. We'll see if that really means too much. Probably not, but just getting to her 140 a little bit quicker, I guess. So, but yeah, I think by game 3, if this goes to it, which you'd like to see.
Ooh, Scatter Weak doing a ton of damage. Frost caught in a tough position, forced to get out of there with low health bars. But unfortunately, Frost has already spent that TP, so not maybe the best back timing. Meanwhile, there's a lot of skirmishing on that top side as well. Speaking of which, both junglers are here. Lullaby trying to poke out Jesus Juice for a bit. They do have strong priority and may just go straight for the Drake, as you can see Jesus Juice forced to TP back, and looks like Lullaby going to try to secure up this first objective.
Yeah, I kind of hate this play from GCCE. I think that once Wukong came down, once Wukong showed, I think instead of trying to get like them to force a gank, which obviously Saba's bot lane was not falling for. Oh, as we miss a kill over in the top lane, Scion doing his thing. That's absolutely a kill. Well, I mean, Mundo will still scale into the late game, so I don't think that that's the hugest thing. But, I'd said in the draft, I really think that GCCS should be getting all, if not the first 2 objectives, just by the fact of how much they can push. And why do you grab lanes that can shove so hard if you're not going to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that top lane, the disparity is definitely growing. Over 22 CS, or exactly 22 CS lead, I should say, plus the 1 kill for the Scion. I mean, the great thing with Scions too, like you could get back to like super easy, right? Between the teleport, you could just ult back into lane. And I think that was a pretty solid kill for TES, because let's say if TES somehow dies there, I think the Mundo's health was so low, you probably just get a kill right back in zombie form too. So things are starting to grow a bit on that top side for TES, and that's definitely what you want to see, right? You don't want a Dr. Mundo scaling a little bit too hard because he's a pretty scary split pusher as well, especially on the top side, right? Coconut can just stay in those side lanes, unlike, the jungle Mundo where you kind of have to be at objectives. You can just kind of, potentially even win a game if the opponents do not react fast enough. As got a week going to stun off Frost a bit as these two top laners are fighting it out, but Sion has the level advantage on top of the health advantage right now, so Coconut playing in a tough spot, but they might just let Coconut just play on that weak side and give priority to this bot lane instead.
Yeah, and this is going to be really sad for them too, because now you have a Scion who is not just woke as the fight's going to come out.
Oh, Lullaby going to be caught in a tough position here, but now caught between that and Scion as here comes the Cataclysm to lock up the Wukong. Wukong gets out to safety for now. Frost going to be the first to drop, taking a ton of damage from that Unleashed power, and meanwhile Fallen going to have to flash out there, but Lullaby does go down to the Scion, and Scion looking unstoppable. Blocky Panda almost gets out, but does not. It's going to be the Glacial Fisher that picks that one up. But a 3-for-1 trade or 2-for-1 trade, I should say, for the side of Chrono. It means that they are going to be able to grab up this grub.
Yeah, and Fallen Warriors might be able to get something out of this, right? Like, no, probably not. Yeah, so Romeo doing a great job, and I love the patience from Blocky Panda on this play here, where actually held the ultimate, the Syndra ultimate, until after the Braum shield was down, right? And so she stalled one. There she is, the hero play from Fallen Warrior over there, and now Jarvan's going to be coming in with full health, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, and this is tough too, right? They stay so long. Lullaby has completely respawned. Another kill goes over. It's going to be just a Braum though, and Lullaby's actually going to die straight afterwards. So don't know if that was particularly worth it, as you didn't get the second grub, and actually the Seraphine goes down too. Frost picking up another kill. So yeah, I mean, they did get one grub out of it, but they lost 2 members for the cost of Braum's life, which overall a pretty good trade for Chrono still, and their lead is starting to grow a bit more.
Yeah, that was kind of weird that Fallen Warriors stuck around that long. I mean, the play's over. You made your hero steal, and now your Jarvan is done. Like, you don't have level 6, just get out of there. But stays a little bit too long, and both of these mid laners with the heads-up plays, the one from Blocky Panda during that fight to hold on to the ultimate to kill off Frost, and at the same time, even though they were about to die, they still got the Between Worlds off as well during that fight. So they were still able to, press a little bit of an advantage and keep SG kind of in that circle, and kind of like pigeonhole them into taking a little bit more damage than they wanted to. So 2 huge heads-up plays from these mid laners. I know these are the 2 premier mid laners. This IQ is gonna have to pop his ult here.
Yeah, and IQ trying to make something out of this matchup. It's been kind of a tough one, but does have the health advantage right now over TES, and the Unleashed power. Blocky Panda takes a solo kill over Frost, and that's got to feel good for Syndra. I mean, Syndra, if you get her online early too, right? And there's not a lot of super heavy tanks on the side of Chrono. Outside that Scion, you can just start, 1-shot, 2-shot combo the enemy team. And so you definitely want to slow down Blocky Panda if you can. But so far, playing great in the early game. Unstoppable Onslaught is coming through. It lands onto Mundo, but the passive is proc, so not going to be stunned up, but still going to be caught in a slightly tough position trying to sidestep the Decimating Smash. But TES just smacking him around with that huge hammer. Decimating Smash is going to land yet again on Coconut. Coconut already blew the ultimate earlier, doesn't have a way to get out. Flash is not up yet too. Decimating Smash should be enough, and TES is on a killing spree, 3-0-2 on Sion. Hasn't even popped a passive yet.
Oh, this is absolutely humongous for the side of GCCE. So they now have a top laner that can just basically kill the Mundo anytime that he wants, probably for the next 6 to 7 minutes, right? So you have the top side locked up. Should have gotten all 3 grubs for him, which would have been huge as well. And as soon as he finishes this Titanic, he's just going to complete scaling like for the rest of the time here, right? Kind of like the same way Mundo does. Problem is,
all right, well, Lullaby might get the kill. It looks like TES is going to flash out, but we get the shutdown going over the Coconut and burn the splash as well for Sion. So definitely getting something out of that. And now Coconut can start catching up. I mean, if that was the turning point, we're going to remember that. But keep an eye on the Drake here, as it looks like Chrono is going to try to grab the second Drake. Definitely don't want the opponent's team to start stacking too much Drakes here. Spell Shield going to get rid of some of that stun and slow. But overall, though, still pretty solid for the side of the top lane, but Coconut is going to try to make something of it. As Between Worlds is going to pop. Blocky Panda is low, tries to get a kill back, but Jesus Juice is going to be the one to take out Blocky Panda, and now giving a little bit of breathing room for Frost. Meanwhile, the spot lane, the skirmishing is starting to continue here as Braum going to be locked up for a second. Should be able to get out to safety, just not enough damage yet.
Yeah. And I do kind of love this from Lullaby. She's in here stealing the jungle of the unaware Wukong. You know, she's just a little bit behind on this play. And I really like that play. And Frost is a little lucky because they did get caught by the Scout of the Week. And if there was half a second more of time, then Blocky Panda was going to get a return kill on the 2v1 in the mid lane there. So Blocky Panda playing out of their minds right now, and they, just like Tastes, is kind of like the win con potentially for the side of the GCCE. Like, same thing with Blocky Panda here, right? Like, they are absolutely terrifying right now. And like you said, outside of Tastes and maybe if you mess up an Ulta clone, all these other members, have the opportunity to be blown up.
All right, well, Taste taking a very long stroll in the enemy jungle. The Ash Arrow is going to miss. Frost is there for the backup, but I don't know if they can fight this 2v3 as the chase is continuing, and these invented bone saws are really slowing up Taste. Taste going to have to use the unstoppable onslaught to get out to safety, but does get out. Oh, here comes the flash forward Scout of the Week, and here comes the Unleashed Power as well as Blocky Panda takes another solo kill on the Frost. Frost taking some chip damage in that jungle fight, but the kill does go yet over to Blocky Panda. Taste overstayed the welcome as well, and that's a double kill for Blocky Panda. Definitely not what the champion you want to give kills to, but Blocky Panda definitely putting the team on his back right now and outputting some serious damage on the Syndra.
Yeah, that's like how to throw a Scion lead 101 here, right? Like, Taste was so far ahead. All they had to do was just not do what they just did. There's Jesus Juice now going to try to fight this out as well.
Yeah, flashes forward as well. Avoids a Cataclysm, and Jesus Juice trying to take something. Nice. And now Jesus Juice actually on the killing spree. Does he even get out of here? Does Lullaby take the kill back? It's actually kind of close, but Lullaby is going to be the one to take the kill. So on the board for Lullaby, but also avoiding this Wukong from snowballing a little bit out of control, as Wukong did have the item advantage over the J4. But with that health disadvantage, not able to do it. Yeah. As those from our noted by our production too. Both ADCs, 0 kill participation, 0 deaths so far. They're just playing the farming game.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. I mean, honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do. Just sit in the bot lane. You're 0-0-0. There's like 20 kills on the board. You know, you're just kind of doing your thing, right? I mean, both of these champions are going to want to get to the late game. They're going to want to be able to throw down. It does look like we are potentially going to get the on-hit Ashe with the Kraken Slayer being built here. I don't know if they're going to go to crit after that one, but hopefully we'll see the on-hit Ashe. I like it a lot better. I know crit is, for the most part, better, but with these tanks on the side of GCCE, I do think that they are going to need a little bit of that, maybe the Bork for the extra slowdowns and stuff too. So, yeah, interesting game where the ADCs don't really do anything, and like, I mean, Sivir doesn't really have a lot of kill potential, and she can kind of get away from the Ashe ult as long as she doesn't screw up her cooldown. So, not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen a few Ashe do eventually, like, do builds, Bleed the Ruined King, as we see in potential gig. No, Adam is going to get out there. But, you know, especially into these very health-heavy champions, like Scion is not easy to take out if you're not really building any, you know, percentage health shred, because you have a Syndra, right, which is a lot of burst damage, but that's not going to take out the Scion at the health range in the late game, and, you know, no one else can really output that much damage. In general, unless you just get like a, you know, the Titans fighting off the Mundo versus Scion back and forth. Mundo does have the Warmox completed, so will help Coconut stay in lane a lot longer and, you know, starting to help that scale. As the Glacial Fissure does land onto Fallen Warrior, but the Ash Arrow is fantastic as well, slowing down the chase. Here comes the TP as well. It's going to be from Blocky Panda. Let's see if they can make something happen, as they're already back at their turret, so this might be kind of a harder one. And Frost is here for the additional assistance too. This might be a 4v4 fight at this bottom turret. But here comes Scion as well, as Taze has TP'd over, and this looks like it's going to be a 5v4 fight as Dr. Mundo is on the top side. Let's see if they can catch something here, because they got to make something happen, setting all 5 members, as Between Worlds is going to be dropped, and Fallen Warrior is going to be the first one to go down. But this is a lot of effort just for support Seraphine so far, and meanwhile, Coconut getting a lot of value on the top side, getting that top lane turret as well.
He is, but if they can transfer this to never mind, another fight.
Okay, Scatter Weaker is going to push things back, but Decimating Smash is going to knock up Blocky Panda for the time being. Looks like they're going to try to secure this Drake, but the health bars on the side of Chrono Shift is not that healthy, and looks like they might have to back. I mean, if they give a Drake over to Saba's Grubs, that's even worse because they're losing turret. And look at this. This Mundo is pushing this tier 2 turret now on top of it. I mean, it shouldn't go down at this point. You got to be really giving him a lot of room there. But 2 plays going over to Dr. Mundo, and now this is where things get kind of scary.
Yeah, it does. And that was also like what, 2 or 3 plates up at the top. So he's sitting at an 1800 gold spike. Gotta get something good here. Does look like he's going for the Heartsteel next. I guess it's normal to build the Warmogs first. I don't know. I'm not really that much of a Mundo player. I can't stand the champion. So it is a little interesting. But yeah, I mean, the 2 plates, now you have a little bit of extra pressure on that side lane where, TES is going to have to respond and stay there. And then Mundo at this point should be a little bit caught up, right? As the Dragon is now going to go over to the Saba's Grubs. But that's such a killer of momentum for GCCE here when they had the play, and then such a strong scout of the week by Blocky Panda is kind of the reason that like 3 health bars went down, because the ball was actually behind the shield of Romeo. So yeah, unfortunate for GCCE. I think they had the right play. They saw Syndra sitting on the ward in that bottom brush, and they still chose to take it. But then they just didn't get anything on the back end. So well done by Sabas to make sure that happened.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, Blocky Panda doing a good chunk here. But now Coconut can kind of hang with the Scion. Scion going to go for this proxy instead, especially with Warmox being up and running, giving a lot of heal. But TES might be in a tough position. Does have the ultimate up. I think they're trying body block in case he tries to use the onslaught to get out of there. And it is going to be used, but there comes a body block. Cataclysm going to lock up TES, and TES does go down. Unfortunately, it's going to be Fallen Warrior that picks that that kill. But speaking of kills, the Unleashed Power is going to take out the Aurora on the bottom side as well. So 2 kills going back over to Saba's Grubs. And now the score is 9-9. Goal differential pretty negligible at this point. But you got 2 Drakes to 1 on the side of Saba's Grubs. And this Mundo doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. He's coming in, closing in on that Heartsteel. And to answer your question earlier too, I play a little Dr. Mundo on the top side. Obviously, you don't really go Warmogs in the jungle. But it does kind of help, right? And you don't get too much value out of an early Heartsteel. Eventually, once you get enough health, you can kind of stay in lane a little bit, and you'll catch up on the Heartsteel stacks pretty quickly, especially into a Scion comp. So it is the build of choice. Sometimes you go the Swifties, but often go for the plated steel caps for this Mundo, just for a little survivability into Scion, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's worked out for him ever since, the first 2 kills, right? Like, he hasn't died since. He's been kind of part of a little bit. Is Kawhi is now going to be dealing with this Blocky Panda, which with Seraphine is probably not a lot of fun to be doing. Is the edge. Crystal Arrows coming down, but it's going to go wide left. Unfortunate if you are the Ashe, but now Frost is going to have to deal with Mundo as well. This Aurora can't catch a break at the moment.
No, unfortunately not. Frost's a fantastic player too, but just, a tough start in the early game, just trying to play catch up 2 levels behind the Syndra. Syndra already on 2.5 items at this point in time too, and has the magic pen boots on top of it. So the Syndra's definitely going to be outputting some damage. Yeah. But I don't know, against the TES though, this might be, not that much of a concern. And maybe this is kind of how you isolated both top laners kind of matching up against the opposing mid laners, which generally speaking is not going to be a great time for the mid laners. Meanwhile, our ADCs are skirmishing out here in this middle side. Oh, TES actually picks up the turret and might go down again, but might be valuable because TES not worth nearly as much gold now. And, going to just be a nuisance on the side lanes and try to outmatch this Mundo, but Mundo is going to pick up the turret on that bot side as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting the turret, your cancer push Scion at this point, you got a lead early on, and now you're able to just kind of do whatever you want. And yeah, it's the Mundo and the Warmog. It's so annoying. I hate the champion. I just not the champion himself, because I think it's a cool idea to have health tanks or health damagers. The problem is how hard it becomes to kill them, and I just don't know. The amount of healing, you can't cut more than 40%, and then when, it's 700 a tick, you're still getting, 400. You know, so it's just crazy. Yeah, how much they do. But yeah, I mean, both of these top laners now are going to be extremely annoying, right? Like either one of them can choose to cancer push this, and they can both be just as annoying. Now it's going to come down to the 4v4, and whereas Kawhi Adam has been doing pretty good, even when he had to deal with the Syndra in the mid, you know, this Ashe Seraphine is going to have such an easy time setting up a Jarvan play and then a potential follow-up.
Oh, here comes the gank, though, and the Cyclone between worlds is going to be popped. Lucky and Fallen Warriors trying to get out to safety as the Encore does land onto the Sivir. Cataclysm going to lock her up, but going to flash out to safety. No one has died somehow after all the resources spent, but health bars are quite low as now comes Coconut. Jesus Juice going to get over the wall, but Scatter Weak is huge, and the Unleashed Power is going to take out multiple members as Braum and Wukong do go down in the fight. Overall, a fantastic fight for Saba's Grubs, despite the fact that they were the one that were initially engaged on. But just the peel from the Seraphine was massive there. And the reaction time from the rest of the members of Saba's Grubs was, you know, what made it so that they were able to get out to safety. And now TES trying to find something on the other side of the map. But this is where Dr. Mundo starts getting a little bit scary as has a Heartsteel completed as well, and that's going to be another Drake going over to Saba's Grubs. Infernal Soul is going to be scary on this composition as they have a lot of damage behind Blocky Panda, and adding some more damage is not ideal.
No, is that and like this is even something that we hadn't really spoken about yet, was the double stealth engage where the Wukong and the Aurora can come over like they just did, right? Like from an unwarded thing into the brush. Somebody's gonna have to ride this Shelly, right? No, dang, they are not gonna get this at all. I would have liked to have seen maybe one of them jump in it and then just take it bot lane and be like, yeah, okay, cool, you guys still have mid, but yeah, so that's something, you know, added to this, like the allure, like after the arrow is down from Ashe, or her, you know, her volley is down, there's not really any way for them to really tell that there's a invisible champion coming at you. So it was great idea. Just like you said, Seraphine, Fallen Warriors did such a good job of just completely negating that entire engage, and then just had a little bit more on the back end after everything was spent by GCCE. So huge play for Sabas. I think that puts a lot of mental doubt in the minds of GCCE for future plays, where they're like, okay, like we just sent everything and they won the fight, even though we had the extreme numbers advantage from the beginning.
Definitely. And top laners just getting beefier and beefier in these crass exchanges, as well as a Heartsteel. Rabadon's completed on Blocky Panda. This Syndra is a force to reckon with. Even if you can't take out Taste of Scion, the problem is if you kill everyone else on the side of Chrono Shift, then you can just 5v1 the Scion, and or just have the Mundo stay on top of him to neutralize him. As Lullaby going to Cataclysm Frost, forcing Frost to flash out, which is a pretty massive summoner spell for that Aurora.
Extremely.
And again, Frost kind of finding a tough game here as Adam trying to look for the engage, as the Glacial Fissure is huge, and Lucky is going to be shut down from Jesus Juice. They're looking for more, as now the Seraphine falls afterward. This might be the opening they're looking for, but Blocky Panda is here with the damage. Lullaby is there for some additional support, but Cataclysm was used earlier, so you have some ultimates down. And I don't know, do they go for a Baron here? It might be a little risky as Lullaby is still up, but they need to find advantages somewhere after these two important pickoffs.
Yeah, I think they do. And whether it's shoving mid, which I don't think they get much out of because Blocky Panda does so much damage, can probably kill a cannon with like her W. Like as we just saw, like she just hit Kawhi, as they are going to do the dragon, and TPs are going to come in. So this will be contested, so I'll shut up now and let you call it.
All right, well, Coconut is coming in from the flank. They're caught in a tough position as they got a lot of their health shredded from the Baron. Between Worlds is going to be used, so as Blocky Panda has to slowly get out there to safety because you have so much value for the team. But Coconut just running through it 1v5, picks up one kill, but the shutdown does go over to Jesus Juice. So a 1-for-1 trade. Here comes the TP now from Blocky Panda. They're looking for a re-engage as the health bars are a little bit lower. TES already below half health, and Blocky Panda with full reinforcements. 3 other members here, a 4v4 fight, but this is looking very favorable for Saba's Grubs as the Cataclysm does lock up the Scion. And the Aurora goes down as well. Blocky Panda on a rampage. Gather Weak doing so much damage. TES does shut down Blocky Panda, but everyone else on the side of Chrono Shift is dying, and that's going to be a full ace. And looking like this is going to be their Baron.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they didn't just turn around and fight there. Like, you're dead to rights. If you don't turn around while the Braum shield is up and block all of the damage, then you're kind of going to lose this anyways. And you're not getting away from Seraphine and Ashe slowing you down and Jarvan coming over the top and flag and dragging and catching. So it was a really good fight initially from GCCE. They had won it, but then if you don't finish off Syndra, if you don't finish off Blocky Panda with the teleport, they are going to end up coming back in as they did with the teleport. Their teleport being up was absolutely huge for that fight, and then getting back in and then just completely disrupting the retreat angle that they had for GCCE and catching out 3 members with Scout of the Week. Blocky Panda has been on a rampage, and like you said, even if they don't kill everybody, or even if they don't kill TES like right away, if they kill everybody else, the team fight is completely lost, and we just saw that right there.
Yeah, and honestly, the TP from Coconut, right? The flank really set him up because takes one down with him, but more importantly, you buy enough time for the rest of your members to respawn to take that re-engage fight. And at that point, it did not look like a favorable fight for Chrono at all. And meanwhile, Drake is going to be spawning in less than 10 seconds. This is going to be Infernal Soul. The problem is you don't want to give it up, but if you contest this fight, you might just lose the game on there, as Unstoppable Onslaught does land onto Dr. Mundo, but Coconut going to tank that with a passive. Cataclysms go down. Adam going to be the first to drop. That's so much damage now missing as Blocky Panda goes into stasis, as Between Worlds is layered over everyone, but just not enough damage as Blocky Panda does take down the Aurora. Scatter Weak is going to scatter the Wukong, and TES and Braum just going to have to run to safety. Romeo try to hold it together as TES going to provide a little bit of appeal for the Scion. They're trying to sidestep, but the thing is, they're just running down the members of Chrono Shift. The slows are coming through. The Mundo saw the arrows from the Ashe, and Romeo tried to throw up the shield to save himself, but the Scattered Weak is going to claim the life of Romeo. They're looking to finish off this game strong, but there's still a few more seconds before the Silver's coming up. I don't think they end it here, but this should be Dragon Soul for them, as Lullaby working on that Inferno Drake right as we speak, and there it is. This game is looking really, really tough for Chrono Shift.
Yeah, I think even before this fight, it's like officially Saba's game to throw at this point, right? And so with that, we're seeing the power of this comp, with the Seraphine being able to speed everybody up, the Ashe slowing everybody on the other team down, and then just the follow through of damage from Blocky Panda just completely annihilating everybody. And it doesn't really seem like even TES can do anything. Look at this vision over here. I mean, this is before the fight, and I know the fight started from north of here, like in the middle, but like when you look at the Rift or the mini map and you see how the vision looks from any one side, you can normally tell who's winning the game, even in matches that are closer than this. And SG has just completely dominated the vision game this entire time. They've dominated the mid lane, and I'll say this, like the bot lane going as even as it did with the amount of range that's on Saba's Grubs, like they also kind of won that too, right? Like Kawhi has to be close to everybody to fire off. And like they're able to just kind of go even, and late game, Ashe Seraphine just does so much to help your team.
Yeah, and the healing as well, too, right? Like, the health bars were looking full for the side of Saba's Grubs, even after getting hit by so many of those skills, as these top laners are just going to continue to skirmish in this range. But, I mean, Saba's Grubs still has their tier 1 turrets, right, in the mid lane. That's so much map control here and vision for them, as they are looking to grab even more in this bottom side. Their wave is thinning out a bit, so maybe not going to do too much, but look at just how much damage the Scatter Weak is just doing to the squishier members of Chrono Shift. And now comes another wave. Jesus, you're trying to find a little bit opening out of nothing. Might be able to get this turret, but they are losing a lot of value, and at least forces Saba's Grubs to recall and address this Wukong. So great place from Jesus to extend this game a bit. But they kind of need to dodge some team fights for a while, I feel like, because the next team fight, if they just lose another 5v5, it's going to be game over.
Yeah, it will. And I actually think this buys them so much time. Having Scion just sort of force Coconut to stay up top where he was, and then send Jesus Juice. They're lucky. I mean, it's a risky call, I think, but having Kawhi and Frost and Romeo down on the bot side to just sort of stave off the last of the Baron empowered minions and just hold off that push and clear the waves is huge, because now you got a tier 2, and Sion still scaling with the health, and now it's going to be harder for Sabas to really crack this base open without getting another thing, as the Enchanted Crystal Hour is gonna miss.
Yeah, it was spell shielded, luckily for Adam, but had to pull back a little bit. And here's the thing, I actually like the play a lot the more I think about it from Jesus Juice, because you have fantastic wave clear from Adam on the Sivir, so you can really turtle and just drag this game out as long as possible. But, if it comes to Elder, you can't really avoid that one, so you're going to have to team fight eventually there. But I think that's maybe their goal, is to try to catch up as much as possible before that forced Elder fight. Like, even Baron, you can probably give up and be okay for now, just because they're just a little bit too far behind right now in items, in gold and stuff. But they're starting to catch up for sure, as Dr. Mundo is on level 19, closing in on that level 20. And things will definitely get scary here, because, in these fights, you just got to clear the wave. You just can't kill this guy. And level 20 Mundo is online.
Yeah. And Frost kind of has to be, in front of this turret, and they can't be because they're going to die. But a fight is up in the top lane.
Oh, and this is a massive shutdown, as we saw it off screen, but TES actually takes out Blocky Panda. Fallen Warriors goes down as well. But meanwhile, this Mundo might be ending the game. We get a kill and shutdown over on Lucky goes down too, and Adam picks up a kill too. So 3-for-1 trade on that top side. It's going to be nice, but you are losing an inhibitor at the cost of it. I think overall, that's still not a terrible trade for Chrono Shift, as they're still making something out of this, and having Frost just check the Mundo is definitely a trade-off, because Frost's a little bit on the weaker side, so finding value for Frost there, while you could keep the Scion, the beefy Scion to frontline for your team fights, is definitely be advantageous for Chrono Shift. And now they're a little bit back into this game. I mean, the gold differential is still about 4K, and they don't have Dragon Infernal Soul, but they can do something.
Yeah, but the fact that they just took a 4v4 when you don't have your burst damage in Frost, and you start off by killing Blocky Panda, like, that's absolutely insane. Like, I couldn't see it like too much just off of the minimap, but if you're able to do that now, you just stifled them from taking Baron, right? And now you can line up the Baron and the Elder timers, right? And so now you can trade a Baron for the Elder, or vice versa, if you can get it, and then take the team fight, or go back to, I can wave clear, I am Sivir, right? And so now you're basically forcing SG to come at you and fight you, or trade you an objective. And now you've just flipped the game into two different potential realms, where you can use the Baron to wait out the Elder and keep your scaling comp going and going, or try to take the Baron or take the Elder for yourself while they take the Baron. So very strong play, great call, I think, from them. And it all kind of stems off of that Wukong shoving mid while Sion shoved top.
Yep. Big team fight's about to happen soon, as you see their top laner skirmishing, but Elder is spawning in 5 seconds. They look like they want to take some even aggressive position. Scatter Weak is huge, as Roman's going to pick it off right away. Instantly, a 4v5 here, but the unstoppable onslaught does lock up Lucky for the time being, as the ricochets are starting to add up, but Coconut going to ward off the Sivir for now, as Adam is going to be the one to go get dropped from Blocky Panda, and things are looking not good for Chrono Shift. It was a great attempt, but TES goes down as well, and that's going to be 3 members already dying. They're looking for more, as Jesus Juice gets taken out too. Frost, the one remaining member alive, and unfortunately the member that is a little bit behind on farm levels and items. And Coconut just trying to run down this Aurora. Might be missing a few of those saws, but the third one does land, and you're going to just have to run back into Fountain. This looks like game number 1 is going to Saba Grubs. No Elder needed. One more team fight was all that they needed. Huge numbers from Blocky Panda, but a great recovery from the top side of Coconut as well. And they're going to take first game off of Chrono Shift.
Yeah, I think this was Chrono Shift's game, that they probably got a lot of what they wanted. They first picked the Sivir, who I think Sabas just did a good job of outsmarting them with the draft, right? Like, you ban all of the Mundo counters, they don't pick Mundo. So you go for that, and although I'll say IQ didn't play the best early on. I'm sure he would agree that, dying to the Scion twice is not what you want. They did keep a level head, and they were able to get him into a position where he could do what he does best, and that's push and, just provide a huge meat shield for the rest of his team. Blocky Panda in mid, absolutely insane on this Syndra, and what a great counterpick to the Aurora, who normally is bullying a lane, dives in lane. And their bot lane, very strong in the late game, right? Like, gives up a lot of tempo early on, but we're able to really do a lot on the back end of those fights and really chase them down with the excess speed and the slowdown from the Ashe. And then, of course, Jarvan just doing Jarvan things, man. He was ahead, and I think the GCCE kind of drafted for a way that they could get the early objectives and the early leads, but didn't take the best use of them.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think the bot lane of Chrono Shift played well, right? Adam and Romeo, I don't know if they could have done any more. They weren't really behind the lane. And I looked at the end there too. Adam had like about like 100 CS lead over the Ashe. But that being said, you just the rest of your team is so far behind. You just get bursted down. You can only spell shield one thing at a time if you're Adam on that Sivir. And unfortunately, they do drop the first game, but Chrono Shift is undefeated in the regular split for a reason. This is a best of 3. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back for game number 2. Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports. It's the final week of the winter split of Divinity League, and we have a showdown between GCCE Chrono Shift versus Saba's Grubs. And Saba's Grubs, first one to draw first blood here in that first game. But this is a best of three. I'm Caleb Payne. I'm joined with Fel. And how you feeling after that first game?
I'm kind of surprised, actually. I feel like Saba's Grubs had an idea of what GCCE wanted to do. Chrono Shift might be even easier to say. I feel like they had a good idea of what Chrono Shift wanted to do, and they had a plan for it, right? And like we were talking, like kind of after the game, like the whole Mundo pick and stuff like that. Like they banned the 2 Mundo counters, and they leave it up for them to take. They didn't take it, you know.
Yep.
And so they kind of got him off on that one a little bit, and then they just had an answer to everything. They took another good lane that can just sort of sit back and clear, not as fast as Sivir, but do just as well. And then obviously the Jarvan into the Wukong, to me, feels more like a coin flip kind of situation, to where like if you don't screw up and you don't overcommit on the Jarvan, then you have more pressure early on, and even late game you can still do things to help your team. And then obviously Blocky Panda on that Syndra was
Yeah.
absolutely insane, and so they just did everything that they needed, and it just seemed like Chrono Shift was just like half a step behind the entire time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the unfortunate mid gap for Blocky Panda versus Frost definitely opened up the game for Saba's Grubs, and I think across the board too, they had a great draft going into it. So with that big of advantage in that mid lane, and then just continuing your advantages in all the other lanes, just made things a little bit hard for Chrono Shift. But Chrono Shift is 6-0 in the winter split for a reason. And, they're definitely looking to strike back in game number 2. I'm sure Frost is definitely looking for some revenge as well against Blocky Panda after that first game. And Frost, definitely a player we've seen quite a bit in Divinity League, has what it takes. As we get some bans out here, it looks like Saba's Grubs is going to be on that blue side this time. And Chrono Shift going to look for their counter pick. I believe, last game it was a Syndra pickup on that final pick. So it, Blocky Panda did have that counter pick option into Frost, and just Syndra just outranges almost like so many other mid lane champions, and just makes it a little bit difficult to play into. So I get why that might have been a tough one for Frost, as we get the Gwen Viego Vex banned out on the side of Saba's Grubs, and then Viego Twisted Fates and the King. Don't see a lot of King these days, but probably a very targeted ban.
I don't see TF has been a champion that I've been picking up and playing nonstop.
Yeah.
And I don't see that banned ever, so that's pretty cool to see. They do end up getting the Vex for the Shen, and then they pick the Shen. So last game, their first 3 bans was the Viego, Gwen, and Shen, and now they picked the Shen first. So this will be interesting to see how this one goes, as looks like GCCS is good for the scaling Smolder in the bot lane, and guess we'll see. I'd be interested to look back at the history of this and see if Chrono Shift had ever lost the first game, or if like any of their losses were they always the second game or something, because losing the first game really puts you on tilt. It can, anyways, and so like the entire time you're playing a do or die kind of situation at the end. So interesting to see if they want to go 7-0 now. They have to do it in 2 back-to-back do or die situations. Is now going to be a Kali.
Yeah. Dude, this is like the dive smolder comp at the moment in time, which is probably not a bad strategy, because that is obviously a very clear win condition the later the game goes on. Ooh, but I like this Galio pickup as well too, right? So you have very heavy engage on the side of Saba's Grubs, but you have a lot of disengage. The Shinzao, the Galio, definitely what you want to need for a scaling ADC. But they're going to be a little bit short on damage. I do like that Vi pickup as well to just guarantee lockdown potential onto any of the carries. And so far, you got one carry you're definitely having in mind, as we get the Leona banned out and the Lulu banned out. I don't know if they would have ever played Lulu with Smolder, but I mean, maybe. And then we get the Nautilus banned out.
Melio, something like that. Maybe even a Rakan, right? Like for more disengage or peel. Obviously, you're not going to pick the Rakan with Poppy still on the table. I would think. But yeah, the Melio or the Nami to me would have been at least what I would have thought.
Janna is also an option too for the side of Chrono Shift. Really great peel potential. They're going to go with the Alistar. Okay, so a little front line. You can headbutt some opponents back, just soak up damage. But right now, they don't really have a lot of damage on their end, so they're going to have to probably pick up a carry top. I mean, they have plenty of front line at this moment in time, and we get the Caitlyn band picked up too. And Caitlyn, a great answer to Smolder, just having so much range and so much burst damage. Could be kind of a troublesome matchup for the Smolder, but we'll kind of see how they round it out. Oh, Caitlyn Karma, a very strong bot lane as well. This is going to make life a little bit difficult for Romeo and Adam.
It is, but I think that if you can get out of laning phase just with Alistar sustain and a decent amount, we'll say, of picks, as the Ambessa is going to round out the draft for the Chrono Shift, I kind of would have liked to have seen like maybe a Rumble or a Kennen, dare I say it, right? For the constant AoE damage and lockdown, and more so to kind of help the Smolders. Now, like the Ambessa seems like they're going to want to go in, right? Like you're going to want to do the public execution onto the backline, which is a Karma protected Caitlyn or Karma herself. And then, your Smolder's going to kind of be like the rest of the team is going to be trying to protect the smolder, right? So I kind
Yeah,
of feel like maybe something like a Kennen or a Rumble would have been outstanding to see here.
definitely.
But also, Ambessa is one of those champions that if they can get ahead, they can completely take over this game. You do have a little bit of squishiness on the side of Saba's Grubs, you know, outside of the Shen and potentially maybe the Eclipse Shield from Vi, right? You have an Akali who you catch out, you can kill. Caitlyn, and it's all going to be on the back of Fallen Warrior and the Karma here to sort of like, you know, peel for those two. Where GCCS has so much peel and disengage, re-engage potential.
Yeah, a lot of the Ambessa does give you engage now, for sure, and maybe a target for Gallows to go into. But I kind of agree with you there too, right? It kind of throws their comp off a little bit. Maybe like a Gragas could have been good as well too for some disengage opportunities as well for the team. So we'll see how well they protect Adam, right? Adam is going to be crucial in these fights unless Jesus Juice and Taste really scale fast, right, and pick up some crucial items. I mean, they could definitely carry the game in their own right. But this is a lot of AD. So you're kind of eating good if you're Coconut, I feel like, as the Shen, right? You're just going to build a lot of armor, and this Shen's going to be hard to kill until like a Smolder like fully stacks up. But this Shen is going to play a pretty crucial role, I feel like, in a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, all you have to do, like with Vi, is buy a Death Stance, right?
Yeah.
Akali, just get the plated steel caps. You know, I know you're dealing with the Galio, but unless Galio goes full AP and becomes just as squishy as Smolder, it's not a great idea,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
I feel like between that and the Karma Shields and everything, it's going to be so hard for them to deal. And I think the longer fights go, they are going to favor Saba Scrubs more. I think that also, SG has to make sure that they do not overcommit to targets because you are going to have the Galio. You are going to have the Alistair able to disengage off the Smolder. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of damage potential, you know, put on Adam because if he does not get to his stacks early enough, this could be really hard for them to stay in the game while the rest of Saba Scrubs is more early focused and can get so much of a lead that sometimes scaling comps can just feel like they're just crap.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing is, even if you fully stack up, you hit that 225, you know, break point for the Smolder. If you don't survive long enough these fights, it doesn't really matter, right? And they have so many ways to just assassinate you with the Akali, with the headshots from the Caitlyn, the Vi just going to lock you down, the taunts from the Shen who will tank your damage no problem, right? While they're diving you. I'm a little worried for Adam there because, again, like last game, Adam didn't play it poorly in my mind at all, right? Adam nor Romeo, but they just... the other lanes got too scary for them, and they just, you know, could only block so many spells before they locked down Adam. So we'll see, though. Chrono Shift, they are, again, undefeated in this regular split for a reason. And let's see if they have what it takes to stay undefeated as they head into playoffs, or if Saba's Grubs can draw some blood off of them before they head off into the postseason, as Lullaby and Frost gonna just poke out around a bit here. I think Frost should theoretically have a much better matchup into Blocky Panda for this one, but if Blocky Panda somehow still finds advantages into the Galio, that is not going to be a good sign for Chrono Shift.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I really like what they did there, Saba Scrubs, where you use the Vi and you know that Xin Sao's up there more than likely, right? And you just are like, okay, we're going to hold this off and then bring Blocky Panda up. Like not overcommit, not try to place the ward and then have Blocky Panda do it. I think that's like one of the cooler or at least smarter, you know, uses of that early vision potential that I've seen in these leagues. So it's really cool to see that. And then, yeah, this is going to be rough for this bot lane. It should be anyways. Like as long as Lucky and Fallen Warriors don't overstep too much, this is going to be really hard for them to like really do anything in this lane. And then we've seen this time and time again where these Galios just get to a point where their normal innate damage is enough to carry them through these laning phases and actually potentially kill their opponents. And it does look like this time Jesus Juice is actually going to opt for the early. Oh no.
Okay, a little flash flex there, but Coconut going to drop the flash there. Maybe try to go for the taunt, but couldn't get in range. Does have the ignite still, but this might give an opening for Taste in this matchup. The wave is kind of building a little bit slightly in favor of Coconut and does hit that level 3 first. I mean, it's not easy to kill Shen, right? So might not be too bad, as the taunt is not going to land, and TES is going to grab a grass proc off of it. I don't know if you've been watching First Stand or not, but Broken Blade pulled out Shen in a game 3 match today at First Stand, and that Shen was doing some damage. So definitely a champ I love seeing just in action.
Oh yeah, so do I. So do I. The amount of damage that it does is so unexpected when it is in the hands of somebody who can pilot that champion well, that understands their trades, potentials and everything. So this should be good. Like IQ and TES are both really good. I would actually probably watch just like they had like that streamers mode or lane mode, whatever they had for the LCS a couple seasons ago, where you could actually just watch the pro view. And this would be an interesting one to me, is TES and IQ of a coconut, just because TES is impressive with what they've been able to do, and even though he did the early skip on his Grubs, Jesus Juice did not end up getting a gank into the bot lane, whereas seems like Lullaby, she's looking for something here, a potential dive, but I think they're gonna call it off here. Yeah, the lanes are going to reset, and TES with the teleport, the early teleport, is going to be able to get back into this lane, and now Shen's going to be on the back end here up against 2 longswords, and no way to really get back without giving up at least a plate or 2.
Yeah, definitely the downside of not having that teleport, but into Mbessa, the Ignite definitely can be valuable, and of course in the late game, you have your ultimate on Shen to just help out your team as soon as possible. So going to just struggle a little bit under the turret here, but has a turret, and I don't think TES can really kill the Shen anyway, so might be feeling pretty okay. I will say, though, Adam and Romeo playing pretty well in the spot lane. I mean, the Smolder has even CS despite the really tough lane matchup, so this is exactly what we want to see. I mean, the health bar is not quite that high for Adam, but it's not really that much of a concern as long as you don't die, right? And I think Romeo, I saw a couple times, has just been headbutting the champion's back just to give the Smolder a little bit of time to farm. You know, playing a Smolder babysitting duties, but definitely a role that needs to be filled some way or somehow with Smolder.
Yeah, and I think between the passive, like Alistar's passive, like since I've been playing with my buddy who plays a lot of Alistar, like the amount of healing that comes out of that is pretty crazy. Like it's way more than you would think. And so between that and the fleet footwork, like Adam should be okay. And the fact that, like you said, he's even on CS here with this Caitlyn, who, while they're not killing them, they do so much disruption and poke damage that it should be harder.
All right, and turret shot going to land out the TES, but both top laners are just staying put for now, as Coconut still has not even recalled yet. So playing a little bit hard mode with the 2 longswords and the cookie on the side of TES. I don't know if TES will ever consider going for a tower dive, though. I don't think TES looking for something there. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think he wants to get the demolish proc here, but
yeah,
he's got to wait for IQ to miss the taunt first.
Yeah, and there's a little bit too risky, I think, in this early game, as TES is going to play a little bit safer. But public execution is available for this. Again, both teams playing it pretty safe in this early game for now, just playing it slow, and that's honestly going to be a good time for Chrono Shift, because the longer this goes on for, the better it is for that Smolder.
Yeah, and I really wouldn't hate, if IQ like backed, and then as TES is trying to like push the turret, like Vi comes in, and you ult the Vi and try to kill it that way. Like that would be like a nice little spicy play. You'd be able to play with around with the Shen, but as of right now, I think that like this first dragon is going to be huge, and they did just see Juice on the cone, the plant. So now that's going to be, it should be the go button for SG to pull the trigger on this dragon here, and that kind of looks like what they're doing. They saw that he's up there, and yeah, this is the right call from SG. I really like this.
I love this proxy from TES as well, because what he's doing essentially is keeping the Shen in lane. And the thing is, even if you have your ultimate for Shen, he hasn't backed yet. He's at half health. So he's going to have to back first before even ulting in for these fights, which means that TES just keeping him further away from these fights as long as possible. But it is going to be Saba's Grubs that picks up that first Drake. So maybe not doing as much value as I thought it would. But I think Shen's about to lose another wave here, so forced to stay even longer as it's going to be a free back. Oh, first blood going over to block it. Panda picking up the kill of the Galio just under turn as well. That's going to be a great pickup for Blocky Panda. I mean, Galio in the later game is going to be pretty much unkillable for Zakali, but you want to definitely abuse this matchup as quick as you can in the early game, and Blocky Panda still doing Blocky Panda things in game number 2.
Yeah, this always feels really bad. When you flash and then Akali still hasn't used their perfect execution, you're like, oh crap, right? So the taunt is out, and at this point, Frost knows that they kind of messed up. And so good follow-up by Blocky Panda. This is another game where they're getting their own early lead without any jungle intervention. So this could be huge for the side of SG again. If this Akali can get ahead, we said it about the Syndra last game. If they can get ahead, well, they're getting themselves ahead. They have a 20 CS lead, or a 15 CS lead, and they are now a kill up on their own. So very interesting as we see they're going to go for the Gunblade, which I still don't know if I like this item or not yet.
I mean, I haven't built it myself, and I don't really play Akali, but I've seen Akali's put in some work with it, so it could be definitely good, and you get some lifesteal out of it. Looks like Frost is going for a more tank build for the Galio, which means that's great news for Coconut. Not really any magic damage in sight as we get the knock up and taunt coming through, but just for some chip damage. Like I said, this unless Akali has any significant item leads, eventually this matchup is just pretty much unplayable for the Akali because you just sustain so much of this magic damage from Galio. Winds of War going to keep chunking away Blocky Panda, but Blocky Panda not scared, just continues to take the fight, and I think maybe that's where the Vampire Scepter can come in handy, as we're going to see a potential fight for Grubs. First Grub does go over the side of Chrono Shift, and wait, hold on, the public execution does not land. A great sidestep from Lullaby, but Lullaby caught in a tough position. 4 members diving. Finally, this call comes through, and Romeo going to be the one to actually pick up the kill onto Lullaby, but Lullaby buying a lot of time for her team so far, but you can see the other lanes are pushed quite a bit. However, she does go down, and all 3 Grubs should go over to the side of Chrono Shift, and Blocky Panda take a little bit of damage, but should be able to get out to safety.
Yeah, and like this Galio matchup, it is going to be very hard for Akali, but once you get that Gunblade, I kind of feel like you're going to be able to, do something with it. Is the ultimate from Lucky was already expended, so that's why Smolder is like so low. Another fight.
Oh my gosh. All right, Frost trying to do something here. The knock up and the turret shot not enough to force take out Blocky Panda. Blocky Panda did have to drop the flash, but GCCE is trying to clean up for the mid laner. Oh, and here comes the Wind Becomes Lightning. Doesn't get the audacious charge through though, and Lullaby just there to protect her mid laner, and now goes for the re-engage. Crescent Guard going to be popped for some additional safety, and both junglers going to back off, but now we have the Hextech Gunblade 2-0 on the Kali. Blocky Panda putting in work today in today's match.
Yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal play by Blocky Panda once again. I feel like we're going to be saying that this entire series, especially if this even goes to a game 3. Is Coconut gets a kill on Taste out of nowhere. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that, but that was weird. Probably took a couple turret shots, I would assume. That's what ended up happening, and maybe got a little bit overzealous, and then the ignite from the Shen just... yeah, that's really unfortunate if you're Taste, because they had been playing an almost perfect game up to this point, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Taste is up CS as well, too, but doesn't have time to purchase, as Taste maybe taking kind of a greedy recall position, goes for the engage somehow. Let's see how this plays out, but there's got to be some turret shots here, right? I feel like Coconut just doesn't have the damage to outputs. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This is Shen. Yeah, this looks like, easy taunt there. That's that's 1 turret shot plus ignites the flash forward, and Coconut taking that 1-for-1.
Yeah, that's something you always have to be careful of. No matter how much you're bullying a Shen, if they can get an EQ onto you and get you taunted and then block all of your shots while you're taunted, like, Focus almost gets it again. That would have been absolutely insane. But now this is free plating, so that's the other side of this play, right? If IQ actually messes up their play, now Taste can, really do a lot of damage to this turret. And even with the Tiamat, I don't think the Chen has enough wave clear to make this a safe play, as we're seeing Saba's Grubs doing a very good job positioning themselves for the second dragon, and this will be 2 of those compared to just the 3 Grubs, and this could be a dead Romeo.
Right, Romeo force a flash on the Alistar. Alistar even pops the ultimate as well. Unbreakable Will just going to be able to get him out to safety, but that's flash out and ultimate down for this Drake. It looks like another Drake is going to go into the hands of Saba's Grubs, and that's really not great for Chrono Shift because, you know, that's the one thing you really want to stop if you have a Smolder combo. You want to slow down this Dragon stacking because you don't want to give up that easily. That'll just make the matchup even harder, as it looks like they might look for engage, but I don't think it's going to happen as Lucky has finished the Hex Optics on the Caitlyn. Interesting too as a first item on Caitlyn. I'm not too sure about that, but obviously it's a great item for that Caitlyn though.
Yeah, I keep seeing it. I mean, she's one of the champions that doesn't really let people get too close to her to begin with.
Oh, okay. Looks like we might have lost a Fel for now, so I'll fill in some time until he gets back. But yeah, I mean, typically a lot of times you see Caitlyn with that collector, but the Hex Optics definitely going to be a great item for her. Honestly, probably one of the best items for Caitlyn, as here comes the headbutt, pulverize. Lucky taking a good chunk of damage. Romeo not going to be able to get that stun off.
Okay.
All right. I think welcome back, Fel.
Okay.
But a little skirmish on the spot side, nothing too crazy that you missed out on.
No, yeah, and like I was saying, the optics is like so big for her because like you're always going to basically have that 10%. As now, this bot lane really needs to.
Oh, yeah! Here comes a massive tower dive as Lullaby going, and here comes the cease and desist. Unfortunately, the ultimate from Frost a little bit too late. A double kill going over to Blocky Panda. And that's not who you want gold on, but Blocky Panda playing a fantastic 2-game series so far. As we see a quick replay of how they just completely collapse onto Smolder. The turret's still up on top of it, but they don't even care.
No, and this is so clean. This is such a great job from Lullaby to come in here, even though they missed the Q, to just automatically lock down, give Blocky Panda that, and then there wasn't even enough time for the Galio ult to shield and like any damage away from that Akali. So the perfect execution on the back end of that, and then using the reset to just kill the kill the Alistar on top of it. Romeo and Adam both dying right there is not what you want if you are GCCS. But great tower dive followed up with another turret plating as well. Turret itself. So big gold swing for the side of SG's 2 kills and a tower. Right after you just got Dragon and you stole 2 camps from Jesus Juice. So this is so much work being put in by the team of SG off the back of this bot lane that just has like infinite prio.
Yeah, I mean, look at Blocky Panda playing aggressively into a counter matchup, but that's just what you're going to do when you're 4-0. And, as TES caught in a tough position here, should be able to get out to safety with the turret right on his backs, but Lullaby and Coconut not going to make it easy time for TES at all. But things are really going the way of Saba's Grubs for now, as GCCE is forced to pop the Crescent Guard, but here comes Caitlyn as well. Should have the ultimate. Takes the Hexgate out of there to safety, but Jesus Juice is on the other side and the wrong side of the map. Should be able to get out with Frost still here, but Blocky Panda on the hunt. Can you lock down? No, just gonna think better of it. So Jesus Juice does get out to safety for now. I thought
what a head
go for the ace and hole, but did not have it up.
Yeah.
Taunt comes through. And Adam does go down to Lucky actually off screen. Meanwhile, Frost caught in a tough position. The exhaust comes out yet again from the Akali, and Blocky Panda another solo kill. 5-0 on this Akali. Meanwhile, Lullaby caught in a tough position. Chrono Shift needs to get something back, and they finally do, as TES is now on the board. 7-2 though to start things off. They're losing turrets all over the place as Lucky looks to pick up the mid turret on top of it. That's just so much match control just going down the drain for Chrono Shift.
Yeah, it is, and it just seems like Saba's is getting everything they want, except for, on the top side, once again, TES doing their job and, stabilizing at least this top side of the map, with the exception of them messing up and getting caught under the turret by IQ of a Coconut earlier. Like, this has been an almost flawless performance by TES, and they're just kind of continuing where they were at game 1. Shen hasn't really been able to do much as far as, like, helping the team, and now with this lead, it looks like they're going to try to collapse on IQ.
All right. Well, Coconut actually avoids the pulverize from the Alistar, and now the backup is here as Coconut feeling much stronger, and you can see Lullaby charging up, and Coconut going to be one that pick up the kill on Jesus Juice. Chrono Shift maybe overstaying their welcome as they have to go back home and lick their wounds, as Saba's Grubs feeling really confident right here. Meanwhile, Adam about to go down as well. Mom called a little bit too late, not going to get the healing off of it. And Lucky going to pick up another kill. I believe Smolder, unfortunately, is now 0-3. Last time I checked, the Smolder was at a little over 100 stacks. So still on pace to hit that 225. But the problem is, will the game be over by then?
It might be, as Blocky Panda smells blood here. And I don't even think Frost is tanky enough on a Galio to deal with this.
All right, going to go for the knockup and taunt. Wins a war, going to do a little bit of damage, but Blocky Panda able to just heal that back up. And look at Frost already below half health. Blocky Panda not going to go for the dive now, but perfect execution is up. As now GCCE is trying to find a little bit of farm somewhere, but this is the Saba's Grubs jungle at this moment in time. And another Drake goes over to him. It's going to be Hextech Drake as well. That is so unfortunate for Chrono Shift. Just, they can't handle the damage very easily now, and Hextech Soul is not going to make things any better as they're already on soul points in under 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is kind of an early game raffle stop. I know you have a scaling comp, but this is what I was talking about before we came into the game, that the scaling comps sometimes can just feel like they just don't ever get off the ground, and that kind of seems like what's going on here. Is GCCS is, no matter what they do, just do not have the ability to deal with Saba's Grubs early game here. Is now IQ's looking to try to stop this, but I don't know. Even Taste feels like he can't really do too much. Missing the public execution.
Public execution not going to land. And again, if you stay too far in this area, it might not be a great time for Chrono Shift as the chase is starting to go on. As you can see, Lullaby going there for the engage. Romeo might sacrifice himself for the cause of the team. Do they go in and try to save the Alistar? Oh, another TP comes through from the Galio, as well as Frost is in the area. And the Galio ultimate doesn't really provide too much as Lullaby is going to be taunted up. The Lullaby does go down to Taste. Taste is strong on the Zambesa, but the ultimate has been spent as Fallen Warrior is going to go down. A double kill going over to the Zambesa and look for a bit more. Lucky caught in a slightly tough position. This could be a massive shutdown if Lucky goes down. The taunt comes through and the shutdown goes over the Jesus Juice. This is everything that Chrono Shift needs to get back into the game, and they take 3 members down without losing anyone on their side, despite the tough start of that fight, but they found a way somehow on the backs of Taste.
Yeah, and this might end up being an Akali kill, by the way.
Blocky Panda, perfect execution, but the headbutt comes through, and no, the Shuriken is going to, or I should say, the 5-point strike is going to take out the Smolder. And that's a tough one. They try to find a break, but Blocky Panda is still a pretty fed Akali.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight over this rip now, too.
Oh, it does get stolen from Lullaby. Lullaby is going to thank Jesus Juice for the leash. Blocky Panda is here, and this damage is going to come out fierce and fast as the Crescent Guard is going to be popped, but only buys Jesus Juice an additional second. Lullaby going to be one to pick up the kill, and Taste, the most fed member on the side of Chrono Shift, might be tough in a tough position as Exhaust comes through. 5 members collapsing onto this one Mbessa, but they do pick up the kill. They might get one back, though, as Lullaby gets taken out from the turret shot. So not too bad, given the resources spent to take out this Mbessa. And meanwhile, Frost going to get some advantages in the spot lane.
Yeah, and like, what a play from Taste. I mean, that's one of those, like, okay, I stalled the game again, you know, like almost like before with Jesus Juice where he got caught out, then used the Hextech gate to like get away from damages. Galio was on the bot side. So like all these small little plays are going to end up meaning a little bit more, right? Like you saw in that last big fight that Adam was able to get like 4 or 5 different shots off, 4 or 5 different Qs off. So he's going to hit these 225 stacks a lot quicker now as good guy Romeo, you know, doing his best. And then, just not enough here, it seems, in the beginning, but then a huge 3-man taunt from Frost. And then if you're looking at Adam on the outside here, just getting so many Qs off into the back and just getting these free stacks up. And then Shen here, a little bit of overstep. I don't think that really wanted to pull this out, but does get over to the other side of the wall. But very clean fight from GCCS. This, like you said, might be what they needed. But then on the backside here, Kawhi, gets caught out. Adam flashes away, and then Romeo, my bad, homie. Yeah, that was just, yeah. You feel really bad when you do stuff like that. You're like, my headbutt was not up. My headbutt was up, my pulverized was not. Yeah, but At the same time, for these 2v2 skirmishes, which I think that if SG kind of keep up here, Lucky and Fallen Warrior are doing way more damage, and it's hard for Adam to stay alive even in these like 1v1s or like whatever. So red buff on the Caitlyn, if you get tapped with an auto attack, that's a lot of your health and a lot of slow. Whereas I think on the other side, I think maybe Xin Shao can fight the Vi one-on-one, and Tastes obviously is doing a great job against the Shen, but outside of that, there's not much in the way of GCCS of able to really contend here, and Caitlyn's just going to get stronger and stronger. She's only at 2 items now, and she's already at the point where she can kind of just walk up and kill Smolder at will.
Yeah, speaking of killing Smolder at will, we have the Shadow Flame completed for Blocky Panda, which means that you'll definitely be executing Smolder at even higher health ranges at this point. I mean, Adam picked up a Merc Treads, right? There's not even that much magic damage on the side of Saba's Grubs outside the Kali, but just to survive the Kali is what they end up going for. And that's going to be Hex Soul, though, for Saba's Grubs, as Jesus Juice does pick up a kill. And here comes the Public Execution to lock down the Shen. The Shen might go down, but Coconut is hard to kill, as here comes the Hero's entrance for some additional gauge. Crescent Guard going to be popped up for some additional damage, as Mom going to layer it over the top of Blocky Panda. This is his time to shine. He's doing so much damage just with the auto attacks and some of the spells, but a good headbutt pulverize to slow things down. Romeo trying to peel for the rest of the team, but Frost going to be the one to follow. Romeo goes down as well, and Adam's going to have to run here as Ace in the Hole going to be blocked from Jesus Juice, but they still lose out on this fight. 3 members go down for the cost of just 1 Shen. That's going to be Baron, and with Hex Soul on top of it, this is going to be a hard fight, next fight to defend.
Yeah, I think the only thing that can save them at this point is maybe an Elder Flip or a complete lack of awareness on the side of SG to just like walk up. Maybe all 5 members would have to walk up and just like not press buttons and just die for GCCS to come back in here. Or they need to be experts at turtling. At least in this game, they don't already have a mid lane down. They don't have a mid turret inhibitor down like they did last game at this point. So this is just such great early game execution from the side of SG that I wasn't expecting it to be this clean early on in either of these games. And I think to be able to do it in a second game after, you have time to like look at your mistakes and not make them again for GCCS, like it's kind of impressive that Saba's Grubs has been able to do this against the basically best team in Group B up until this point.
Yeah, exactly. And we get the taunt come out from Coconut, but it's not going to be easy to kill the Shen, as a good sidestep there to dodge some of that damage, but they're just beating down on Coconut. I don't think Coconut is going to be able to get out here to safety, but it's buying a lot of time, and these Baron empowered minions are, doing some work as well, but they still have a Rift Herald and is crashing into mid inhibitor turret as they're looking to dish out even more damage. Romeo onto Alistar. He's tanky, but not tanky enough, as Lucky's going to be the one to pick up that kill. And they do take out the Shen, but at what cost? As Blocky Panda, this is the one member that could take out Blocky Panda, and it's going to be Taste that tries to do it. A big shutdown going over to Taste. Hex Drinker, Merc Treads definitely come in handy, and that's definitely a shutdown valuable here. But the rest of the damage is coming through as Ace and Hole going to set up this Caitlyn for a nice assist, as the Season's assist is going to take out Taste. And meanwhile, the rest of the fight, though, is to continue. And Adam actually picks up a shutdown onto Caitlyn. That's absolutely massive, as Fallen Warriors is forced to flash out. And Smolder is online, has that 225 stack now. As you can see, that execution line on the side of Karma. So there might be a chance, but still over 2k gold differential. And that is a Hex Soul that they have to still watch out for.
Yeah, and if SG has an absence of egos, then you tell the Sakali, do not go to where Tastes is, right? This one's just kind of weird. I understand the plan of you want to get, you want to get this vibe, but he steps on a Yordle Snap Trap there, and then just, like you said, he's tanky, not tanky enough. You're still sitting, like, we forget how early this game is because it feels so late in the game, but this is a 23 minutes, like, your Alistar only has 1 completed item, so they're not that tanky. So after this, like, a good collapse here from the side of of SG, but it just sort of turns around on them because they're so focused on what's going on with Lullaby and Taste that they kind of mess this part up. And now they do get the kill onto Frost, which I think maybe you don't have to bring Frost here, but like you said, got the 225, starting to get some kills, and now if Adam can continue to do this, this could be their way back in as another fight's breaking out in the jungle.
All right, Hero's Entrance is going to peel a little bit for Romeo as Mom is going to be thrown over the top. All in War going to be the first to draw, and the execution is online for the passive of Smolder, and they all of a sudden lose 2 members. The Karma, sure, but losing Coconut in that fight is massive because that's going to be a lot less frontline as the Ace and Hole is going to do a ton of damage though to Adam. I mean, Hextech Soul plus a Caitlyn with that many items is going to hit pretty hard, and this Smolder, of course, has only Merc Treads too. No armor really built up at all. So this Caitlyn damage is still pretty scary here. But we have a little over a minute until Elder, which the game definitely should not be over by then. So that's going to be definitely a massive fight. And look at the gold differential. Only about 1K difference at this point. So really not that bad for Chrono Shift.
No, they've definitely clawed their way back into this game. And I think that, the fact that Tasty was doing so well, even though they died under the turret, and was so far ahead. I mean, we look at that gold differential, that's 4K, right? Like that's almost, or 3.5K, 3.6. So that's huge. And now, he should have gotten caught there. I saw the damage go through. So yeah, and now these fights are starting to get to the point where the tankiness of GCCS and their comp is able to, as long as they can stop Adam from dying, we're starting to see all the damage that this Smolder can do, and the innate damage of these tanks and the Xin Xiao as well, doing a lot to the side of SG. So it's getting very hard for them to execute their game plan the way that they want to. You have the Galio ultimate, the Hero's Entrance coming through. You have Xin Xiao to block any of the potential projectiles coming through. So they're all posturing here for this Elder Dragon. And I think that with this teleport coming in, this is going to be the fight.
Okay, there's going to be a massive flank as Taste is going to be the one to TP in, but now going to be sandwiched a little bit. However, the Gallo is there to provide additional resistance. The massive taunt is going to slow things up as Jesus Juice is going to be the first to fall. Black Panda going to pick that up, but the damage from the side of Chrono Shift is still there. Smolder full health, just layering all this damage. They're playing really fantastic front to back as Smolder picks up a killing spree. Going to be the buy that goes down. That's going to be a double kill. You see Adam feeling confident, flashing forward as well, but Blocky Panda is still around, so you have to be safe here as Shuriken Flip is going to close the gap a bit, but Blocky Panda slowly coming close to that execution range. Exhaust going to be used onto Adam, but the stasis comes through to save Blocky Panda. Adam now going down, and Blocky Panda is going to pick up the double kill himself. This is just going to be Frost, though. A tank Galio, I don't know if he can output enough damage as Blocky Panda is going to get shielded for now, but this probably was not the best use of the TP, and that's going to be an entire ace on the side of Chrono Shift. They're going to be looking to potentially pick up this Elder. I'm not sure if they have the damage or health to do it, so maybe they're going back off for now, but they almost... I saw the light at the end of the tunnel for a brief second, but then things just turned around, and this Akali just doing Akali things. Very fed.
And I like this call, and I think they had the right idea. But just as tanky as the members of GCCS are, so are the shields from SG, right? So you see all of this. Jesus Juice waits way too long to pop his ultimate there and takes so much frontline damage from the Caitlyn. But still, good job from the rest of this team. IQ and Lullaby getting out of that. Absolutely huge. And now you have Adam sitting here and just waylaying. But yeah, they overcommit a little bit too much here. Tastes, even though they're pretty far ahead on this Ambessa, cannot just take everything. And then Zhonya's. How many times do we see a Zhonya's just save a life and completely turn around a fight? Which is exactly what happens here between the Karma Shields, the well-timed Zhonya's, and then Galio does a lot of innate damage. We talked about it earlier, but it's not enough to break through these Karma Shields and not enough to break over this Hextech Gunblade, as now on the back end of that fight while we were watching it, we get the Elder Dragon taken by SG as a group, so all 5 members have that, and now it's up to GCCS to try to get in here and break through this, and I don't know if they're going to be able to.
This could be the last fight for them if they do not do anything soon. As you can see, they're trying to get up there, but Chen just providing so much value. And here comes the Hero's Entrance as Coconut is going to be the first to fall, but the rest of the members still have that Elder as looks like you
like
actually
that
get a
from
double
Frost.
kill going over
Yeah.
from Adam. So Adam actually still pick up 2 members there. Only 3 members still alive with Elder and Baron, but that is going to slow down his push and buy him another couple minutes in this game.
Yeah, this might be where they go, oh my god, I think we're going to lose this, right? Like, this is where SG has to go. So what I really like from Frost is not only the grand entrance, obviously well-timed. I mean, as soon as the fight starts is a good time, right? But on the back end of that, after that, stays locked in on Blocky Panda, completely forces them out of the fight and not able to get in and do any damage. So there was no resets, no perfect executions, no nothing. And Tasty... or Taste doing a really good job on the Ambessa with the public execution to lock down the Vi and make sure that they can't get on top of this Smolder. So they're doing a great job with this Protect the President comp. Between the Xin Shao and the Smolder, they're doing just enough damage. And as long as they can keep this up, this is their win con, and they're playing it maybe not to perfection, but as close to it as you can in this late part of the game.
Yeah, Adam actually building some tankier items too. Has the Black Cleaver and the Endless Hunger actually picked up on the Smolder. So Smolder is going to be a little bit harder to kill. And I think they, they recognize it, right? They need to keep the Smolder as long and alive as long as possible. Taste can do something, but Taste can get locked up pretty easily in these fights. Speaking of getting locked up, here comes the cease and desist. It's going to land on the Smolder, but there's just not enough damage to follow up yet, as now Black Panda does take out Romeo, but this fight's going to continue as Adam is going to execute one of the members, but Black Panda takes a double kill, takes out Adam, and that is probably going to be the game, as Taste trying to get down by himself, but this is going to be a 1v4. Elder still on a couple members on the side of Saba's Grubs, and that is it. 2-0. They end the undefeated streak of Chrono Shift and end the regular split off tied for that first place spot going into playoffs, and definitely something you're feeling good about if you're Saba Scrubs, as you're looking to make a name for yourself in this postseason.
Yeah, you are. And, if there's anything, I guess, a consolation prize is you're not going to have the undefeated curse. Right, which I know they broke. I think Monkeys broke it last split, but yeah, that was so clean from Saba Scrubs, and then they finally get the fight that they want. Blocky Panda with the patience and the tenacity to wait out the Galio taunt on top of everything else, and the getting through the Xin Shao ultimate is, it's not always easy, but just waiting everything out and then waiting for their time, and then having Caitlyn be able to just kind of shoot everything that entire time and just do damage from the outside. And Fallen Warrior, unsung hero in that game. The amount of times that they saved fights just with all of those Karma Shields and a well-timed saving opportunities that they had was so good. And yeah, GCCS, they just fell behind a little bit too much in the beginning. There's so much yeah, look at that true damage from Caitlyn on that. Is just, I mean, the entire team really, like, that's insane. So the Elder Dragon kind of inflates those numbers, I think, but yeah. Yeah, I don't think that any of us really saw this happening. I wasn't expecting it after reading and then just seeing how good both of these two teams were. I would have said a 3 or 2-1 either way, maybe coin flip a 2-1, but SG came to play, and that was very impressive from them, from all 5 members of their team, including IQ of a Coconut, who was kind of like gapped in game 1, but then in game 2 saw an opportunity, took it, and just like stopped Tastes from taking over the game. So well done to all of them, and this is going to be an interesting potential rematch in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think if it does go to rematch, it would be it would have to be in the finals. Oh no, actually no. It potentially might not, depending on how the bracket shifts. But anyway, that being said, a great way to end the regular splits for Saba's Grubs, and Chrono Shift maybe a little shaken up by that one. I don't know, right? They haven't lost a single series all splits, but they have time to regroup for the playoffs, and given their seeding, they should be in a good spot. I gotta say too, Lullaby really set up that last fight really well with that vibe, right? Just throws her body at the team, knowing that CC's incoming, saying, you know what, I'm going to take one for the team, and trust that my team will have the damage afterward to follow up after I burn a lot of the cooldowns on the enemy team. And it worked out quite well. But what a series from Blocky Panda as well. Fantastic first game, somehow even better second game, and really just bring so much pressure onto the side of Chrono Shift. And looking forward to seeing how he continues in that postseason, as well as the rest of the team of Saba's Grubs. But that's going to do it for us, a 2-0, and this is going to conclude the regular season split for Winter Split. We are heading to playoffs next week, and that's going to be fun. Finals, semifinals, and the finals to see who takes it all the way for Divinity League. But that's going to do it for us. And if you want to support Titan Esports, always check out FOFesports.com and then check out the Titan Esports tab to buy all merch to support this organization for hosting all these events for Amateur League. And of course, we have events for Titan Esports every day of the week, or most of the days of the week, for the remainder of the schedule. So be sure to tune into that. But that's going to do it for us. Shout out to my co-caster Fel for being on the mic, and of course, Lil Star for the observer duties, and Shirogan for broadcast stuff. But any final words, Fel?
No, that's it. It was a pleasure once again. I mean, I did this a couple weeks ago. I get a chance to jump in. This is such a fun league to cast, and I appreciate it so much. And thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, we'll catch you all next week for playoffs. Have a great one, y'all. Peace.